read that one of the things that drew you to do this project was the fantasy element of this. What did you find particularly fascinating about this genre?
Well, I think I've just always, had an interest in fantasy, and particularly that kind of dark fantasy. I find myself just sort of like nerding out over those kind of worlds and wanting to imagine myself in them. And this particular, I think, mythology that the story is based around felt so kind of cutting edge to me. And I was really intrigued by the idea of being able to visualize this specific species and idea that we're talking about. So it just felt very fresh and exciting.
Cool. And what stuck with me when I was watching this movie was that I feel like there's a focus on the female roles, because in the beginning we see Mina and she's interacting with male characters, but we don't see them because they are blurred. And throughout the film, I feel like the focus is a lot of parts on these female characters. Was that a decision you made intentionally, or?
I think so. I mean, I think for me, part of it was just inevitable, where I think for this like first feature, it was very much about trying to sort of write the emotions that I was feeling and write a character that I felt I could do truthfully. And that just like happens to be a young woman. And then as it kind of came together, became very apparent to me that we had these two like very strong females at the center. Three actually of them, and that became kind of like my intention, is to make it a relationship between them two, and it's very much about them at the end of the day, sort of navigating these emotions and circumstances.
Do you think there are enough suspense thrillers and I mean horror movies as well, where the female is the center, or do you feel like there could be more like these kind of settings where there are really strong female characters in the lead? I
think there could always be more. I think I really admire the way that women navigate the world. I think it's like a bit more interesting to me. So I think having them at the center just like provides this kind of new complexity and a new energy to a genre that does feel quite masculine in some ways, or requires like a damsel in distress at the center. So redefining that, where you have, I think, a really like provocative kind of female character at the center is very interesting to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And without giving too much away, there is potential for a sequel, obviously, with the books that exist. Are you interested in doing another movie, or are you like, I want to do another stuff now that I did this kind of genre?
Can't say just yet. I think this kind of world is definitely the one I enjoy playing in. I thought kind of one of the really cool elements of this movie is it's basically just kind of a tease of this genre, which is the intersection of fantasy and horror. And there's so much more to be done with it, and so much like deeper to dive. And I'm really excited to do that in whatever form comes.
Okay, fingers crossed on that. And you did a lot of work with your father in this kind of genre. Is there one thing you learned new while doing this movie when it comes to directing these kind of movies?
So many new things. I mean, I think, it's sort of, for me, I think one of the great lessons I learned was just honesty, sort of like being as truthful as possible, like listening to your own emotional truth and like guiding with that, leading with that first. So I think that's the kind of journey of all artists, is trying to discover like what your actual kind of intentions and feelings are.
Da draußen ist jemand.
Bitte öffne die Tür.
John? Mein Mann ist da draußen.
Das ist ein Trick.
Oh mein Gott.